Welcome to Electrical Engineer's first Solidworks tutorial. In this tutorial, I will highlight how to use Solidworks and how the Solidworks design process builds up. I will go through most of the tools and give a brief description of them. However, in this tutorial, I will not demonstrate how they work. To begin, to create a new part, you have to go to File, New. Here you can select if you would like to create a part, assembly, or a drawing file. A part is a file which is standalone and is three-dimensional. An assembly is a combination of different parts to create your final product. A drawing is a two-dimensional sketch of your part or assembly, which you give to your manufacturing company, through which they will be able to manufacture your product precisely. So let's open up a new part just so I can demonstrate each of the tools. In the features menu, you will be able to see an extrude boss/base, a revolved boss/base, and swept lofted boundary boss/base. You can also see the equivalent of extruded versions of this, or the cutted version of the swept, lofted, and boundary tools. This extrude boss/base is the tool I like calling the 3D-ifying tool. SolidWorks design process builds up by you creating a sketch, and then once you have made the sketch, you make that three-dimensional. You do this through using the tools in the features menu bar. You can have multiple sketches on different planes. Planes are positioned in 3D space differently. Imagine planes as A4 sheets of paper positioned on different places on your table. You can sketch onto each of the planes, and then you can use these tools to combine them and make a 3D shape out of them. You can see also a fillet menu option, through which you can make your sharp edges curved, so the product will be more aesthetically pleasing and safer for use. Next, in the sketch menu option, you can see that you can create a new sketch by clicking sketch, or you can create a three-dimensional sketch, which is more complex, and I will explain in later tutorials. Let's just make a new sketch just for demonstration purposes. Now you will have to select if you want to sketch on the front plane, top plane, or right plane. These three planes are the planes that come with SolidWorks. When you create a new part, they come default within the part. You can create new planes by going to Features, Reference Geometry, Plane. This is also a very important menu option which you use frequently. In the sketch menu option, you can see the Smart Dimensions tool. This is the tool that you can use to set precise lengths and radiuses and etc. for your sketches. You can also see other menu options up here. Most of them are self-explanatory, however Convert Entities is one which is not. Convert Entities is a tool which is very useful if you're designing quite complex shapes which have to be very accurate. With Convert Entities, you can convert or import into this sketch the sketches from another sketch. But you have to note that if you use Convert Entities, you will be using the perspective of the plane you are sketching on. So say you have two planes, and you have a certain sketch on one plane and another sketch on another plane, and you would like to add planes 1 sketch to plane 2 sketch. You can highlight the sketch on plane 1 and then click convert to entities, and it will appear on plane 2. I will explain how this works and demonstrate it in a later tutorial. In the evaluate menu option, you will be able to measure your 3D objects, create design studies, which are a simulation tool. This is used for, say, measuring the fluid dynamics, the aerodynamics, measuring stress, of how much stress your part will be able to resist. There are further analysis tools here which are very complex, and as a beginner, and if you're a beginner in Solidworks, you should not try and use these, because they may just make your file too complex. Next, in the Dim Expert menu bar, it's just analysis tools again, which I will explain in a later tutorial. Solidworks add-ins, as the name suggests, are add-ins which you can import if you want to use another add-on to Solidworks, for example the toolbox, circuit designer, or the PhotoView 360, which is a very commonly used tool. It's the rendering option in Solidworks. Solidworks MBD is used for the two-dimensional manufacture sketches, which I will not highlight in this tutorial. Over here on the left, this is the design hierarchy. If you create new sketches or features, they will show up here. Along this, you can see properties of the object. If, say, you have an object or a sketch, you click on it, the properties will show up. And there are further tools such as the appearances tool, which you usually select here, and then these are the properties of the appearance tool. Up here you can see the zoom to fit, as it suggests. When you click that, your part will be maximized in the view field. Zoom to area is you can select an area you would like to zoom onto. Section view is if you want to view a section of your part, as the name suggests. Dynamic annotations are annotations if you want to add quick descriptions to your object. This is mostly used in two-dimensional sketches though, and not in three-dimensional objects. View orientation, as the name suggests, is the orientation you would like to look at it from. I recommend that you enable the view selector, because it brings up this cube through which you can really easily select which angle you would like to view your objects from. Then you can select which menu options you would like to be shown. Next, there is the appearances menu, which I will explain later in this tutorial. Next, there's the view settings, through which you can change the background color and what type of viewing mode you want enabled. Over here on the right, you can see the Solidworks resources, which is the little house logo. Here you can find very quick tutorials, and you can also access to the Solidworks community, where you can find some help if you are having trouble using Solidworks. Next is the design library, through which you can take out default designs from the Solidworks library, such as screws, nuts, bolts, washers, and etc. This is useful in mostly assemblies rather than parts. File Explorer is, as the name suggests, the file explorer through which you can import objects or open up objects from your computer. The view palette is used in two-dimensional drawings, and I will not highlight that in this tutorial. Next is the appearances. Through appearances you can add color to your object, and you can select what type of material you would like the color to represent. So say you can select medium gloss plastic, then drag the color onto the object, and then here on the left this will automatically switch to appearances, and here you can set the exact color you would like it to be. Next is custom properties, which you can only which you can create if you want to create an extra property for an object. This is, I've never used this and I don't really know what it does. Next is the Solidworks forum. This is where you can ask questions, or if you find an error in the software that you're not actually sure is an actual error, it may have just been something you don't know how to do, you can ask the community on the forum and they will be very happy to help. They are actually very helpful and quite polite. Down here you can change the units of your sketch. As you can see, there is meters, centimeters, millimeters, and imperial units also. And this is pretty much a quick overview of all the Solidworks menu options. There's one more that is quite separate because it's not an actual real menu option. It's the search option, which is new in the 2016 and 2017 version of Solidworks, and through this you can search for all of the features, sketch tools, and etc. You can access these menu options from insert, surface, face, curve, features, cut, base. Here you can also find a few extra ones if you cannot design what you want using purely these. However, these are more complex and I don't recommend using them if you are a very beginner in Solidworks. So yes, that's it, and thank you for watching.